Hey guys, it's Don here for the OSBGL, and I'm back with another video after a bit of an absence. I think it's been over 3 months since I put up a video, so quite a long break. I'm back with another solo battle company battle report. Every time I do one of these, I'm hoping it's the last time. I really thought the last time was going to be the last one, but who knew that this whole crazy COVID-19 thing was going to be this long? And I still have not played an actual face-to-face game with anybody. Was scheduled to go to a very small tournament today, but in a cruel twist of fate, tournament got cancelled because all of a sudden here in Ontario our numbers have sort of started going back up again. Anyways, enough about that. So I think this will be the last in the series for the solo battle companies, at least with this one, because it's kind of based on a bit of a side quest from the campaign I had going on with Garrett. My warband, the Wrecking Crew, had gone on a mission, and I don't know how many I've done, 4 or 5 solo battle reports. So this is kind of the climactic final battle where the Wrecking Crew will try to take over the final main hall of the lost Dwarven stronghold, I guess you'd say. And in this one here, I have them up against a warband of the denizens of Mirkwood. Obviously, it's not in Mirkwood, it's in a dungeon, but I wanted it to be like spiders and bats and fell wargs. So that's what we've got here. The what do you call it, company rating, my guys are at 257, and that's with missing one warrior, which is Barney, Corrupt Barney. And the denizens of Mirkwood are in at 252, so very close in points. They only have 2 characters. They're both quite good. This is going to be a fast battle because they're just going to charge across the table and get into combat. For the mission, I've picked Seize Ground. It's the very first mission in the Battle Company's book on page 71, and it's just about like controlling the map. So that's what we're going to be doing. There's 5 objectives that I've placed down on the mat, and I'll take you to the board now. I'll show you the battle companies and the layout of the board with the objectives. And I've got all my terrain set up, my Dwarven terrain, all of which I 3D printed and finally finished painting. That's part of the delay, is that I had several pieces that I had to either print and or paint, and I had some work getting done down here in my basement, so I wasn't really able to do. But more than that, I've just been busy with other hobby stuff, and anyway, maybe I'll do a little bit of a video on what has been going on lately, because there hasn't been really much going on in the community. But anyway, perhaps that will be another video, and I'm planning to start another Battle Company series very shortly, which will hopefully start off in just like a couple of weeks. Alright, let's go take a look at the board and the battle companies. Okay, this is the board that I have set up, and so I've kind of got it surrounded by some pieces of black felt with some wall sections on them, just to show you the boundaries. Over there is my warband coming in from the main entrance, and see if I can show you this part here. So this is all like Dwarven scenery that I've got printed off. This is like a forge here in the foreground, and like a giant sort of still over there on the other side of the table. And then the rest are all, well, we've got a throne, and then a couple of pillars, and then a bunch of fallen pillars and debris. Okay, so there is my warband ready to go. Again, they are just missing one of their members, a warrior, and across the table, see if I can do this, on the top side over here, we have 3 fell wargs, a fell warg hero who you can just kind of see his legs sticking out from behind the pillar, and there's actually a giant bat there, or bat swarm rather, behind that pillar, which you cannot see. And then over here, Garrett has lent me his Shelob model, and we have 4 giant spiders. And so both of those characters have quite a few upgrades, which I will rhyme off once we sort of get more into the action. And you can see over the board, like there is one of the white OSBGL markers, and those are our objective markers. So we have one in the center, one on that side, and one here down by the forge, and one by the main gate. So those are key to the mission. Alright, so a model has to be within 3 inches of an objective to lay claim to it, and we will start testing for the game end once one side has become broken. So that would be the evil side going down to 4 models, or the good side going down to 5 models. So I'll roll priority here for the first turn. Evil will be red in this game, and good side will be white. It's a 1-all tie. Figures. First roll of game, snake eyes. Typical of me. Okay, so red has priority, so evil will be going first, and I will be back after I do the first moves. And one thing I haven't really thought about in a mission like this is normally the way I do this is that the enemy models will basically just move and try to charge the nearest good model. Now in this case there's no shooting, so that will be easy. Well, I guess the Mirkwood Spider does have shooting. But I will also have to figure out how I'm going to handle whether a model wants to stay back to claim an objective or not. Not quite sure how I'll handle that. Anyway, let me do the movement for the first turn, and I will be back. Alright, so I have moved all of the evil models, and they all moved up 10 inches. They decided not to leave anybody back to try to claim this one here. Simply because they're going to push across the table, and the fighting is all going to be over on this side of the table. So it's going to primarily be about these 4 objectives, and if they can push their line up here, they can probably try to keep the dwarves off of these 3 and hold them, and move forward with some of their big guys and put pressure on the dwarves in their own end of the table. So we will be back after I move the dwarves, and not quite sure what I will do there, if I'll move them all forward or leave some in position to shoot, but I will be back in a second. Alright, so I've moved the dwarves, so you can see up at the top here, I've moved 3 of them up. That is Lothar, our warden, which is a custom profile, and he's a hero, along with Dovin, who was an Iron Guard that got promoted, and then along with Arez, who was a dwarf warrior, and he got a promotion last time and became an Iron Guard. And then just below them here we have moved half with Gar, who is our ranger hero, who is kind of lagging behind the other heroes a little bit in terms of XP, and Oscar, who is a dwarf ranger. So they're moving over so they can kind of get a shot over here down this way at a spider. And sort of stayed stationary over here we have Holdo, who is our halfling that has joined our warband, and Nord, who is another dwarf ranger with dwarf longbow. And then you can see in the foreground here we have our leader Morin and our Khazad guard, Dargan the Mask. And they have started moving up along over here with these two, which are Wreck with the two-handed weapon, and Max, the other dwarf warrior. So that's the position they've gone into, and now we will try to do some shooting. Okay, so first off we've got over here, we've got Gar and Oscar are going to shoot at this giant spider, and there is a piece of rock here which is in the way, and they have moved, so maybe not a great chance. So here's Oscar, he needs a 4+, so it would be 5+ because he moved and he hit with a 6. So in the way, gets past, and rolling to wound, and he does have pinpoint shot, so he can re-roll a 1, so here's his roll to wound. He rolls a 2, so that is not going to wound. I think the giant spiders have a really low defense. Just checking the stat. And they do have a defense of 3, and his bow is strength 3, so they would need a 4, so that isn't going to hit. And in fact, I'm not even sure he's in range because it's only 18 inches range. So yeah, he would have had to have been shooting at the front one, but anyways, he didn't hit. And now the other guy, Oscar, he will shoot. He normally needs 3+ to hit, so he needs 4, and he's got a 2. So he misses. And then we've got Holdo, the halfling, and Nord will shoot over here at this Fellwarg, and this is in the way as well. They both have the same stat. They're both 3+ to hit, so their bows are actually Holdo is going to only have 18 inches range now because they changed that. So he is actually out of range. He will not be able to hit, so I should have actually moved him up, my bad. Okay, so 1 shot for the dwarf, and he misses with a 2. So not a great round of shooting, and let's just go right to the priority roll. So again, red is evil. So good takes the priority this time, and I will be back after I do the movement. Alright, so the dwarves have moved, and none of the archers moved. The guys at the top of the screen moved up, getting ready to receive the charge of the incoming Fellwargs, and down here in the foreground there, we just shifted around a little bit, but really not a whole lot of movement. So I will do the movement for the evil side and then come back. Alright, so the evil side has moved and they've kind of just charged forward. We did have one spider over here who kind of decided to hang back a bit to stay within 3 of that objective, because that will give them 1 objective. And everybody has moved up, so we're going to have quite a bit of shooting this time. So I will just start doing that because it's going to be all on the good side doing the shooting. Alright, I had to just run and get my Hobbit book because I forgot the Mirkwood Spider hero here actually does have a shooting web attack, and I just had to check the range on that. It's 8 inches, so he's actually not in range of anything he can see, which is kind of good for the dwarves because that can be very nasty. Okay, so starting off at the top of the board, we will do the shooting with the 2 Iron Guard, and I forget which one is Dovin. Okay, this is Dovin, who's the hero. I don't think he has anything that will help him hit at all. He's still a 4+. He does have the Hero Slayer, which is +1 to wound versus heroes, but that is not a hero. So anyways, I will just roll for him. So here is Dovin's shot. He does hit. It is a strength 3 versus defense 4, so he will need a 5. he gets a mighty 1, which he cannot do anything about. The other fellow, who is Ares, will shoot. He gets a 4, which would normally be a hit, but he did move. So it is, I think, -1 to hit. I will just have to check that rule. Alright, so it is -1 to hit. The rules for that are if you're charging into combat, it's not -1 to hit. Like you can charge when you're, or throw when you're moving into combat. And also you can move full move and still throw your weapon, but it is still -1 to hit if you do move. So that is a miss. And now we have a bunch of shooting happening. And I think they are all going to focus fire on this spider here, the giant spider up front, because I know from playing these things that they are really nasty. So we will try to take one of those out. We got 4 shots here to do it with. So we will start shooting with Gar, the character, or the hero. So here's his shot, and he rolls a mighty 3, which I believe is still a miss, because he is still 4+. He has a couple of upgrades, but nothing that will help. So I could spend his point of might to hit, and then he would need a 4+. So it basically would give me a 50-50 chance to wound. Normally I would never even consider doing that, but because it's a 50-50 chance to wound, it might be worth it. I wish I had fired the other guys first, but I didn't. You know what, we're going to just do it. We're going to use his might. Maybe dumb, but that's what's going to happen. So he needs a 4+ to wound, and he does get a wound. So that was fortunate. Okay, and now Oscar beside him will shoot at the same target, so he needs a 3. He rolls a 2, figures. And we'll go with Holdo, the halfling. He only needed a 3, so he gets a hit. His bow is only strength 2, so he will need a 5 versus defense 3. And he does get the 5. So Holdo, who has really not done much of anything since joining our group, actually kills the giant spider. So first blood to the good guys. And we have one more shot from Nord, the other ranger. So let's see if he can hit. I think he's going to also fire at, you know what, he'll fire at the Fell Warg because it's only one shot, and if he does get a wound, it will take a model off the table. So it's a hit. It's strength 2 versus defense 4, so he needs a 5. He has a 1, and he does not have anything special that would do anything to that. So we did kill something. Let me just check, because I think I did give some of my heroes throwing weapons. Yes, I did. So Lothar has a throwing axe. Morin has a throwing axe. Okay, so Morin is here and not within 6 inches, but Lothar is over here. He has a throwing axe, so he's going to throw it at that guy. So he will need a 4, and he moved, so 5 actually. No. Okay, so we did everything we could do there and removed one giant spider, and that was it. And now the bad side is going to hit like a ton of bricks here. Okay, so here we go, priority roll. And good gets priority, so we will be back with the moves. Okay, so the very first move is up here. I don't know if you can see him, but Ares, the Iron Guard, is moving up to charge that Fell Warg, and he's got a throwing axe. So here it is. He needs a 4 because this is not reduced for moving, and he gets a 3. So he will be charging in, and I will now move the rest because they will not be able to throw their axes. Alright, so the dwarves have moved, and up at the top, you can't really see it very well, but 2 of them have charged the Fell Warg, the 2 Iron Guards, 1 hero and 1 warrior, and Lothar has moved up as well. he was not within range, but he'll be receiving a charge over there, I'm sure. And all of the dwarf archers in the center actually ended up standing still because they are out of range of these three models just by a very small amount, like a quarter inch. This is still in range, so we'll see what we're going to do about that. The two dwarves here have backed up just a little bit, so they're out of range of this spider, but will get charged here. And then this one is still out of range, but will be able to move up and shoot its throwing weapon, its webs. Okay, so I'm going to do the moves for the evil side and come right back. Alright, so the moves are all done. I'll start I had a warg here, and he's just moved back into here, so he's going to be the guy that either holds this objective or this one, because this is an objective-based scenario. Over here we've got two wargs charging those three dwarves. The warg hero ended up coming around this way, so that like most of the strength of the evil group is going to be in the center here. The others have all moved up. We've had a spider charge, and they were able to just charge Max on his own, so Rek will just be standing here watching. This spider moved up onto this piece of terrain because, of course, spiders are able to move over top of terrain. I believe swift movement is the rule. Their leader has moved up right into the middle of everything, so we'll be able to try to shoot some webs. And then we have another giant spider who's moved up here. And then the bat swarm did decide to charge. So it was back in here, and it charged up into these two archers to prevent them from firing. So it may probably lose that combat, but it will keep them from shooting this turn. Okay, so we are in the shooting phase, and it is the dwarves. So the dwarves will do their shots. So we'll start with Morin. Actually, no. We'll start with Holdo, the Hobbit, halfling. And we'll shoot at the giant spider, not the hero, the regular one. It is a hit, and we'll need a 5. And it is a 5. So it does do a wound. Can you actually see that on camera? Yeah. Okay, so that's a wound. And another XP there, although because he's a warrior only can get 1. Then Nord will shoot at the same target and get a 1, so nope. And then Morin, the leader, will throw an axe over there at the giant spider, and he does hit. There is an in the way for the hero, so it does hit the big one. So the leader of the evil side has a defense of 4, so he will need a 5 to wound. And he gets a 1. Does he have any kind of crazy rule here? No, he does not. So that is no result. So they did do 1 wound on the giant spider. And now the leader of the bad guys, who I really should have given a name to, is going to throw a web at somebody, and it's got to be on Morin, the leader, of course. So needing a 5+ but moved, so needing a 6. No. Okay, so we're into combat, and I will be right back. Alright, so we're going to start with the combat right at the top of the table here. And that is one fell warg fighting Lothar, the warden. And both have 1 attack. Lothar has the high fight by far, 5 versus a 3. So let's see what they get, and white is the dwarves. So Lothar takes it on a 4, and his strength is 4, defense 4 for the fell warg, needing a 4, and he does get it. So Lothar kills that fell warg. And we'll move straight on to the next fight, which is one fell warg versus Dovin, who's an Iron Guard who became a hero, and Ares, who is an Iron Guard. So they have a total of 4 attacks, so just remember that. And the Felwarg has 1. There is no might to adjust this roll though, because he became a hero, so he didn't start with might, and obviously they have high fight. So they easily take the fight, and they have 4 chances to wound. And they do easily wound, so I can give that point of XP to either one. Okay, so I'll just clean up the board over there, and I will be right back. Okay, so next up we have the Bat Swarm, who has 2 attacks with a fight 1, fighting Gar, the hero, who has 1 attack with a might. No, he used his might. And Oscar, so no might on the good side. And here is the roll. Okay, so Oscar with the small dice, he got a 5, which wins the fight. And so they will push back the Bat Swarm, and they will roll to wound. Now, what is the Bat Swarm's defense? It is a mighty 3. So they both have a strength of 3, so they will need a 4. So the small dice is Oscar. So Oscar causes a wound to the Bat Swarm, and I will just put a marker down for that and be right back. Okay, so we're on to the last fight, which will be over here. So it's 1 giant spider fighting Max, and Max is actually going to fight here. I was thinking about shielding, but he does have a high defense of 7, I believe. He should have, yes. So he's going to try to fight. So 2 attacks for the spider. Both are at fight 4. And the spider easily takes it and has 2 chances to wound. Now, he has a strength of 4 versus Max's defense of 7, so I believe that is a 6. Yes, it is, but they do have poison fangs, so he will have the ability to re-roll a 1. So here he goes, needs a 6. Gets a 1, so he can re-roll that, needing a 6. No, 2 5s. Too bad. Okay, so there will be a pushback there, and I'll just do that quickly so he can make way a little bit if he has to. He'll move out of the way. And now we will roll for priority. Now, this is the turn where might will be spent to try to do a heroic move here. I forgot to push back this giant Bat Swarm. Because both of the evil heroes have upgrades that make them count as cavalry. They both have bestial charge, so they definitely want to get the charge off. So we're going to just roll priority, and then we'll sort through who's calling what. It's a tie. And of course I forget who had it last time. The Dwarves had it last time because they charged in and threw axes. So it will be the evil side getting it this time. Now, I think Morin, who is right in the center of everything here, is going to use his point of might to call a heroic move, because they definitely don't want to get charged here. And in that case, I think who do we want to call it for the bad guys? So the giant Mirkwood Spider hero has 2 might, and the Felwarg hero has 1. So we'll call it with the spider. So we have a heroic move off. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Let's roll it off instead of doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to roll it off, okay? So its evil is red. Try again. Evil is red. So good wins it. Okay, so good is going to get the move, and I will be right back. Now, there are a whole bunch of things causing terror. In fact, every one of those things in their face there causes terror. So this could be interesting. Okay, so all I've moved so far is Dovin has moved up here. He's going to move up to challenge for this objective over here. And there's one Felwarg hiding back here. And then these two guys, Lothar and Arez, have moved up. They're not close enough to charge. But interestingly enough, Lothar has an ability, again, he is a custom path, but it is called Inspires Courage. So any of his allies that are within 6 inches can re-roll Courage. So that'll be these two. And so I'm going to start there. And I believe the Bat Swarm causes terror. I didn't write it down actually. It does not cause terror apparently. Okay, so that means that Oscar will just charge the Bat Swarm, and Gar will try to charge the wounded giant spider. I'm sure they cause terror, they do. Okay, so he has a courage of 4, so here's his courage roll, and he easily makes it. So those two guys are going to be able to charge. Okay, so going down the line, we've got Holdo over here, and then Nord. So Holdo is going to try to charge the giant spider, and he gets a 10, so he's in. Nord is going to try to charge the big nasty, and fails, and sits there shaking in his boots. Moving on to Morin, the leader. He's going to try to charge the leader spider. He rolls a 5, and he has a courage of 6, so he easily makes it in. He's actually had 2 courage upgrades. I think I can actually reach him. He'll move in. This guy, what's his name again? Dargan the Mask. He's got bodyguard, doesn't need to check for the courage. And then down here at the bottom we have Max. He will charge the spider, needing to roll. He fails. Uh-oh. And now Wreck will try to charge that same spider. And we'll see how we make out. And he does make it. So he could actually charge that one or that one. I don't really think it makes a big difference, so we're gonna charge this one just for fun. Okay, so that's that, and now I will just move all of the remaining evil models and be right back. Okay, so we've all moved, and the only models that aren't in combat are Nord. He failed his courage check, and Lothar, who was already moved, and the Felwarg hero was able to charge the Iron Guard without coming into the control zone of Lothar. And over here the Felwarg has charged Dovin. And then we've got the matchups that we already had rolled. The only other one I think was here, where the spider ended up charging Max. Okay, so there's no shooting this time. So we will, first of all, do we have any heroics being called? And I do not think we do. So we can just, I'll go to the top of the board up here. So we have Dovin with 2 attacks and high fight, fighting a Felwarg. And the Felwarg actually takes it, pushes Dovin back and rolls to wound, and it is, I believe, strength 4 versus defense 6, which according to my calculations should be a wound. It is. So Dovin, he does have 1 point of fate. It's his only heroic stat or whatever, and so he does pass the fate. Whew, that was tight. Okay, so we'll push him back, and then down here we have the Felwarg hero, which has 2 attacks, fight 4, versus the 2 attack, fight 4 Iron Guard, Ares. So, very similar stats here. Ares really wants to win this though, or he'll get knocked down. Okay, the 6 takes it. So, Ares does get knocked prone, and the big nasty Felwarg hero will have 4 attacks. So it's defense 6, and he has a strength of 5. So still needing 5s, and he does have a point of might. Easily dispatches Ares. Okay, didn't have to use might. So I'm going to clean up the board a bit and be right back. Alright, so now we have Oscar here fighting the Bat Swarm. So the Bat Swarm, I believe, had 2 attacks, and Oscar has 1 attack but with the high fight. And here is the dual roll. Okay, so the Bat has, can you even see these rolls? I gotta roll it more over here. Okay, so the Bat has 1 with the roll of a 6, and will have 2 chances to wound. Oscar has a defense 5, and the Bat Swarm has a strength of 3, so needing a 5. No go, Bat Swarm. So I'll just move over here and push back Oscar before I forget. And then we have Gar and Holdo fighting against a spider. Okay, so there is no might on the good side, so I don't really need to differentiate this. The spider has 2 attacks and fight 4, so it is, Gar has also fight 4, so it's all fight 4, 2 attacks per side. And Evil takes it with a 3, oh my goodness. Okay, so what are they going to try to do? I think they're going to try to knock out Holdo, because he has no fate, so it'll be a, sorry, I have to find all my stats on these sheets. So what do we got? Giant spider, okay, strength 5, oh my goodness. Okay, defense of 3, so that sounds like a 3 plus to wound. So first roll, it is a 2, second roll, it is a 4. Okay, so Holdo has been knocked out, and Gar gets pushed back. This is not shaping up to be a good round for the Dwarves. And we're just getting started. Okay, we'll save the big fight until last. So we'll come down here to the bottom, where we have Max fighting a giant spider. And Max is going to fight. So they both have, or sorry, Spider has 2 attacks, Max has 1. It is a tie at 4, and they both have fight 4. So I'm going to roll it off again to see who wins. Evil is red. So Max wins, and does he put a wound on the spider? He rolls a 6 and puts a wound on the spider and pushes him back. So let me just write that down. Okay, and then we have Wreck fighting the spider up on the fallen pillar here, and so he's just going to fight normally, not two-handed, to give himself a chance. And we've got a 4 for him and a 3 for the spider, so he wins. And does he wound the spider? He rolls a 2 and no, but pushes the spider back. Let's just push it like off of that thing. Okay, now we're into the big fight. So the big Shelob stand-in, which is going to have how many attacks? 2 attacks, but does count as cavalry, but actually she got charged. Just reminds me too, I forgot to use my throwing axe for Morin. Oh well, my bad. Okay, so she has 2 attacks and fight 4, whereas Morin has 1 attack, and so does his buddy. But he does have a point of might. Okay, so the big white dice is for Morin. And here we go. And the good side also, it's all fight 4 actually. Morin is still fight 4. Okay. So here we go. Here's the rolls. So we're tied at 5. We're tied at 5. Well, Morin has used his point of might, so the spider still has a point of might left. I don't think she's going to use that point of might, so we're going to just do the roll-off to see who wins the fight, because it's tied at fight 4. So here's the roll-off. They both get 3, and we'll do this again. That's why you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the good side wins, and they push back the big spider. Okay, so we didn't two-handed with the Khazad guard, Dargan the Mask, but here's his roll to wound. He's got a strength of 4, and she has a defense of 4, so needing 4s, so he does wound. Now, she has the bloated creature special rule, which every time she takes a wound, she gets a 5+ save. So here it is, and she saves it. Okay, and then Morin, it's the same thing, needing 4. He also wounds, bloated creature save. She saves that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's all of the combats. I'll do the pushback there, and here is the priority roll for the next turn, and it is 6 for the good guys and 5 for the bad guys. So we will be back in a second. Alright, so after looking at the situation, both sides are going to, well, the evil side is lost priority, so they're going to call a heroic move, and they will call the heroic move with the Warg hero over here. Because it will still affect all of these evil models, and they want the charge. And so the only point of might left on the good side is over here, Lothar, and it still makes sense for him to call it because these 2 models are within 6, so they could still get a charge off against that one. So Lothar and Warg hero are calling, so I'll just mark off their points of might respectively here. Okay, and then here is the roll-off. Okay, evil takes it. That is not good for the good side. So first thing first, what we're going to do, even though we're doing it out of order, just so I don't have to reach across the table and keep moving over, the big Shelob stand-in is going to charge and shoot its webs. Here it is. So it doesn't hit with the webs. That's all I really needed to know. Okay, so we have to do the heroic move, which the evil side has won, and we'll be right back. Alright, so they've done the heroic move. So over here we are going to charge in with Dovin, so he's going to throw his axe on the way in, needing a 4. He does hit, rolling to wound, and he kills. So he can keep moving, so that's not going to affect anything, so I'll just clean that up in a minute. Then we come all the way down here to Nord. He is going to have to take a courage check should he wish to charge, which is pretty much going to do that. So here's his check. He rolls a 6, which I believe should be a pass. It is. So he will... Who does he want to charge? I think... I gotta figure it. So he killed him, and then he's gonna continue to move over here to get within distance of that one. Okay, so he passed his courage check, so he needed to charge there or there. And I think this is where we need the extra attack, actually. Would he be able to get a trap on that guy? Probably. I think that's why you should never move a model and then put it back. But I think that's about right. And I don't think that's quite going to give a trap, because he would need to be a little further around. Because these guys are... we'll have to... hopefully we can sort that out. And now we have to roll here. So... Max charging here. He fails. And Wreck, he's going to charge over there. I guess he'll just charge here, actually. It's just easier. And that means that this is the only evil model that's unengaged, and I would think he could still charge there. I think he's got line of sight there. I'll just put him in like that. Kind of jostling things around a little, which you shouldn't do, but hey, I'm playing by myself, so I can do whatever I want. Okay, so that's that. I wonder if I can just keep going. There's going to be no shooting. He's out of the combat. There's very little might left on the table. I think that is the only point of might left on the table, actually. So let's just go here. So let me grab myself some dice. So we have 4 attacks against 1, not two-handing. And I only rolled 2 dice, but they still won the combat anyways. Push him back. Okay, and I forget what their strength is, but let's roll the dice and see what happens. 6s are definitely going to kill, so that's a kill for them. Not good. Every time the evil side gets a model, it's not good. So the evil side has lost 4 models, the good side has lost 3. We'll come over here to do Gar versus Giant Spider. So I think they're both, let me see if I can reach. I think they're both fight 4. The Giant Spider is fight 4, yes, okay, so here we go. Giant Spider wins with a 6, no might for Gar. So 2 chances to wound. It's strength 5 versus defense. I believe Gar's defense is a 6, it should be. It is. So they do need a 5. A 1 and a 3. So they do have Poison Fangs, re-rolling the 1. There's a wound. Can he live? Does he have 2 wounds? He does not, but he does have a point of fate. Needs to pass this. He fails it. Does he have anything that can help him here? No. He has been knocked out. Oof, not good. Okay, that's why spiders are so good, because even though they did do a wound, he still fights, and he has really good stats. Okay, so Oscar is going to be fighting the Bat Swarm. The Bat Swarm has 2 attacks, but a low fight of 1. So Oscar has the higher fight. Here we go. Oscar gets a 5 and wins it. Pushes this guy back. Needs to get a kill here desperately for the good guys. That Spider's defense is... Where am I looking here? Defense of 3. And he's not going to kill because he's got 4 wounds, for goodness sakes. Doesn't even wound it. And now we are on to Lothar here, fighting the Thelwarg hero. Okay, so Thelwarg hero has 2. We had 2 attacks plus 1 for being a cavalry model. and Lothar has just one attack. So he's going to shield. He's going to shield it up. Okay, so here we go. Just rolling all of them at once. And who has the high fight? 4 and 5. Lothar has the high fight. And they both roll a 6, and Lothar wins with high fight. No might left for the hero, so oh my goodness, that was lucky. Pushes back there. Okay, now on to the big fight. We got the big spider, Nasty, with 2 attacks, plus counting as a cavalry model for the bestial charge rule. And then we have like a whole bunch of heroes and whatnot on the good side. There is no might left over here for the good side. I don't believe. Nope. And everybody's fighting. Who has the high fight? Morin has a fight of 4, 4, and 4, and she has 4. So okay, so 4s all around. Nobody gets a 6, and the evil side has won it with a 5. Not good, because now we have a whole bunch of people being knocked prone. Well, let's see who gets taken off the table. What is her strength? Is 5. So that would mean 4s to wound this guy. So here's the first attack of 3 attacks, and of course they get double dice. First attack on that guy, so doesn't kill. Second attack on that guy, kills. So Nord has been knocked out. And the last attack, strength 5, 6, 7. It will go against the Khazad guard, because I would need 6s here and I only need 5s here. So last attack here, no. Oh my goodness, that was lucky for these guys. They could have taken a major casualties there. Okay, so that's everything there. I've got to clean some stuff up here, and I will do that and be right back with a priority roll. Alright, before we roll priority, we can say that the evil side has lost 4 models and is 1 model away from breaking. The good side has lost 5 models and is 1 model away from breaking. So it is a big turn. So here is the priority roll. And evil takes it. There is no might left on the good side to contest that. And so I will move the evil models and be right back. Alright, so I've done all the movement, so you can see that Dovin has kind of moved up and around to stay within 3 inches of that objective at the far side of the table. Back here, it's looking bad for the dwarves. Okay, so we will get right into this combat. Okay, here we go. Everybody's moved. There's only 1 point of might left on the table, and it's the big spider hero. So she's going to call a heroic combat and try to dispatch Dargan the Mask. So she did charge, so she gets her 2 attacks plus 1, as she counts as a cavalry model, against Dargan's 1, and he will fight normally, not two-handed. She takes it with a 4. He is already prone, so she will get double strikes. Her strength is 5, he's a 7 defense, so she needs 5s. Easily gets it. So Dargan is knocked out, and that breaks the dwarves. And instead of going in here against him, she's going to go over here for the sure kill. Come through here and go after Oscar. Make sure that they can dispatch another dwarf. And so we will come over here at the bottom of the screen here. So we have Max fighting against 2 spiders. So even though it's a bit of a lost cause, he is going to shield. And the spiders still take it with a 6 rolled. He is trapped up against the wall, so they have 2 attacks each, 4 attacks times 2, 8 attacks. And they can re-roll 1s for their poison fangs or whatever. And he is defense 7, and they are strength 5, so they need 5s, re-rolling 1s. Lots of 5s there. So Max has been knocked out now. Looks like it's shaping up to be another loss for the Dwarves. Okay, so now we'll go against Oscar over here, fighting the big spider queen. And the bat swarm, which has 2 attacks. And he has 1 attack. So here we go. So the bat swarm has rolled a 6, he rolled a 1, so that's a no-brainer. And let's roll the wounds. And tons of wounds there. So he has been dispatched. This is what happens when you play against these spiders. They're so brutal in the game. If they get to you, it's not good. Okay, so we got 2 more combats. This one here, Morin, so even if he wins, he's not going to be able to land any strikes because he's prone, so he's going to shield. He gets 2 attacks against the spiders, 2 attacks. Both have fight 4. And he does win, so he manages to push that spider back and stand up. So he gets rid of his prone marker. Just in time to run for his life, probably. Okay, and now we have at the top of the screen over here, we have the Warg hero, who is charging, so he gets 3 attacks against Lothar. And because we don't want to get knocked down, I think we're going to have to shield here. So it's going to be 2 attacks for him. He does have the high fight. So both rolled 6. Lothar has the high fight, so he pushes back the Warg hero. Alright. I just have to check a couple of rules and I will be right back. Alright, I was just checking up on the breaking rules and the scenario. So the scenario is once a battle company has been broken, the game might suddenly end. At the end of each turn after this condition has been met, roll a d6. On the result of a 1 or 2, the game ends. Otherwise, the battle continues for a turn. However, you don't check for breaking until the start of a turn. So they were broken during this turn, so we roll priority for the next turn. And it is a tie, and the Dwarves won it last time. And then the evil side called it heroic, so the evil side does get it. Yeah, and they will just do their moves. And the Dwarves are now broken, so then we're into a new turn, so we check for break. Dwarves are broken, evil side is not. So that means he is going to Dovin over here on the left, which probably can't see him actually, way over there. He's going to have to check for break, whereas these guys over here are all going to get charged, so they won't have to check. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Alright, so you can see here that the last 2 good models over here have both been charged. 2 of our heroes, Lothar and the leader Morin, so they won't be checking for their standfast. But over here, Dovin has not yet moved, and he will have to check for his standfast. So his courage is 4. He has no will. Yep. So so he will need to be rolling a 6 or higher here. And he rolls a 6. So he is in. He is good. So he is going to move over here to be within 3 inches of this objective, so we can see what's going on. You can see the last stand of his leaders, and down below here you can see that one of the spiders ran back that way because he was going to be within 3 inches of that objective, so they definitely want to win the scenario at this point. So we will zoom in on this action, and I will have to roll my dice over that way. So let's see if the dwarves can hold on long enough. They can run away if they're below 25%. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So what is that? That is 5.5. So I guess if they get down to like 2 models, they can choose to like run for the hills, basically. Okay, so what we've got here, there's no might left, so we'll go here. So we got Warg, which is charging, so 2 attacks becomes 3, and then, actually wrong dice, and then we have, I don't have enough dice here actually, dang. Okay, so we have the Warg hero, so he's got 2 attacks plus 1 for charging, and then we have the Bat Swarm, and then we have Lothar. And Lothar is going to shield, because at this point it's just trying to survive long enough to run away. So Lothar is going to have the high fight here. He is a fight 5. Oh no, his fight gets halved actually, so he's down to 2.5, 3, 2 or 3, it doesn't matter, he's low fight. So he's still going to shield though. And the evil size does roll a 6, which means they knock him prone. The Bat Swarm, let's roll the Bat Swarm. Strength of 3. It's going to need 6s, maybe even higher. Doesn't get any. So the Warg hero is a strength of 4, and we'll get 6 attacks. And Lothar is defense 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it needs 6s straight up. 1 wound. And there's no re-rolling of anything, I don't think. Nope, the only special roll he has is Bestial Charge. Okay, so did 1 wound to Lothar. Lothar actually only has 1 wound. He has no might, and he has 1 fate. So here's his fate roll. He rolls a 6. Lives to fight another round. Possibly. Marks off his fate point. And he is prone as well. So here's my prone marker. Boom. And then over here, not looking good. So we will definitely also be shielding here for Morin, because at this point they're just trying to, you know, roll a 1 or a 2 at the end of this turn and run, basically. So we've got a giant spider, the big nasty spider, plus it gets 1 more attack because it's charging. And he gets 1 attack but will shield. These dwarves need more attacks, oh my goodness. Okay, well, he got a 4 highest and they got lots of 6s, so let's see if he can stand up to this pummeling. He does have 2 wounds and 1 fate, no might. Okay, so we have 4, he's trapped as well and knocked down. It's all bad. Okay, so the giant spider has a strength of 4, I believe it was. Strength of 5. And he's defense 8, so 5, 6, 7, needs 6s. So here's their first, or here's one of them. 1 wound. I'm just going to count all these because I may not have to roll fate or anything. The second spider, giant spider, no. And then the big hero spider, which is also strength 5, which means it needs 6s. And she gets 6 attacks. I didn't watch to see if I rolled any 1s there. I didn't. Well, there's 2 1s. No 6s. And nothing there. So he can actually just take a wound. Where are you, Morin? There you are. So he'll take a wound and still have a wound in fate. I probably should rewatch that last clip, because if I did roll any 1s for these guys, they could still have a chance to kill him. So I will be back. Okay, so I just rewatched those rolls, and there were no 1s for this guy and this guy. So they all get pushed back. He gets his prone marker because he's now prone. And that is the end of the turn, so we will roll to see if the game ends. And I kind of hope it doesn't, because I just realized that over there could be the decision of the game. Because if Dovin was able to come over and kill the other spider going for the other objective, the evil side would be broken. So that would be cool. So here we go. So rolling on a 1 or a 2, the game will end. It's a 2. So the game ends, and the spiders have... actually, this could come down to the really sticky wording of how this is worded, because they both have 1 off camera. Spider has 1, Dovin has 1. So it comes down to this one. And just checking, so... Morin is within range, but what is the actual rule? Objectives. An objective will only be considered claimed if there are only friendly models within 3 inches of it. If there are both friendly and enemy models within 3 inches, then it is unclaimed. Once the battle company has been broken, blah blah blah. So victory, battle company has claimed more objectives. Defeat, it's less. Both companies have claimed the same number. Okay, so we both have 1. This one is actually not claimed by the evil side, surprisingly enough. So the good side has hung on long enough to eke out a technicality draw. So the game does end in a draw, and I will be back with the War's Aftermath. Alright, we're back, and we're doing our War's Aftermath, so we're into the injury rolls. So these 3 guys survived the battle, so no injury rolls for them. Gar is the only hero, and then we have 7 warriors to roll for injuries. So I will roll first for Gar to see what happens to him, because he's the only hero to have been injured, and he has rolled a 9, which is just a scratch. Miss next game, or you can re-roll. Re-roll. Let's be bold. 7. It is a full recovery, so he is all good. That is excellent. And then we will roll for Oscar. So now we're into the warrior rolls. So it is a much smaller chart, so let's move you over this way a bit. So we have rolled a 7, full recovery, and we'll go for Dargan the Mask. He rolls a 3, so he is dead. That's not good. We will go for Max. he rolls a 9, full recovery. Nord, full recovery. Wreck, full recovery. Arez, full recovery. And we have our little hobbit, Holdo, 4. That is injured, misses a game. So Holdo will be missing a game. Poor Dargan the Mask has been killed outright. That's really unfortunate because he's actually a really good unit to have. And Corrupt Barney will be rejoining the team for the next battle. So only Holdo will be missing the next battle, and of course he has been killed. And we will come back to do the experience. Okay, so for XP, I've got 3 guys that are going to be able to test. I figured that I did 7 wounds and I have only written down 6, so I did miss one, so I'll have to go back through the video and double check where I have missed. I've definitely missed one. But we have Holdo, who has got to 5 XP, and we have Rek, who has got to 10 XP, and we have Gar, who has got to 20 XP. So we will roll for these guys and see what they get. Hopefully they'll get promoted and there will be much rejoicing. So we roll 1d6. So we're going to roll for Holdo first. So I believe he will get promoted to a Tookish Hunter if he should get promoted. And here we go. He rolls a 6 and becomes a hero in the making and almost gets killed by a flying dice. So he becomes a hero and gets to miss next game as well. So wow, okay, so we'll write that down. So he's going to get a point of fate and become a hero and go from 5 points up to 10 points. Wow, impressive. So he's now a hero. Okay, good job, Holdo. Okay, next, Wreck with the 2-handed axe. Let's see what happens with him. He rolls a 1. Thanks for coming out. And last but not least, we are going with the Gar, who has taken the path of the Ranger. Now, this will be his 4th upgrade, so good chance of having to re-roll here. So let's see what he gets. He's got Master Archer, Pinpoint Shot, and Heroic Accuracy. Nothing too great so far. He could use a stat increase. What do we get? We get an 8. Pinpoint Shot already has it, so we'll have to re-roll. 5 is... oh, awesome. It's Courage. Great. So he gets a point of Courage. Oh my god. Okay, so he goes to 5 Courage and goes up 5 points. So he's now worth 44 points and still is lame. Okay, so that's that. And the only other thing is the money influence, I should say. Which I think for a tie they get +1, so they get 3. Alright, I just had to check the influence rule. So you get 2 influence no matter what the result is. You get +1 for draw, +2 for winning. So I do get +1, which gives me 3 new influence from that game. Plus I already have 1, which means I have 4 influence to spend. And I am going to buy for Morin, the leader of this warband, I am going to buy a Raven, which I actually have a model ready for just such an occasion. which I have. This comes off a Games Workshop model. I don't know, it was the model that I was using for my Crebain, but anyway, it's an Age of Sigmar thing. Yeah, so he's got a Raven, which it should be really good, because I believe this thing counts as a banner. Herald of Durin, friendly dwarf models within 6 inches of a Raven that is separate from its hero that can draw a line of sight to it count as being in range of a banner. Starts on his arm, and so you can move it around. So that's pretty cool. It's worth 4 points and costs 3 influence. So I still have 1 influence left, actually, and I will add that creature to Morin's profile, and he goes up by 4 points. Well, thanks for joining me for that game, guys. It was fun. We had a casualty. We only got a draw, but I think we were lucky to get a draw there with the Wrecking Crew. If it had gone on much longer, they probably would have been wiped out to a man, or a dwarf rather. But it was fun. It was good to get a game in, even though it was another solo game. I hope to have some more videos out fairly soon, so keep watching the channel. Even though we're still kind of in, not lockdown, but we're still social distancing and stuff, there's still a lot going on in the hobby. So like I said at the beginning, I think it's been 3 months since I've put out a video. And normally by now we would have put out an episode of our adventures in Middle-earth that I do with Garrett. Obviously we can't do that right now, but I may put out a video just talking about all the stuff that I have done during the last 3 months and during COVID, because there hasn't been any gaming. So look out for that. We'll see if I can put a video like that, and plus I'm planning on starting up another Battle Company series, something to do. Battle companies is a good thing, because usually during this time you can still get together and game with like 1 or 2 people, whatever, whether they're within your family or your social circle or whatever. Or you can play a socially distant game wearing masks and stuff. Battle companies is ideal for that, because you only need a couple people to really enjoy that game. So I plan on doing that and putting out a video series for that. So hopefully over the next months that I can still do some videos and I can still play some games against people. Haven't played a game yet, but I've been trying, and I was supposed to be playing games today, but it didn't happen. But hopefully we can still get a game or 2 in over the next little while. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining me for this video. Don't forget to get your toy soldiers out and come and play some games with us at the OSBGL when we start having tournaments again. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.